Hello, guys. Hope you're doing well. This is TJ, and you're listening to Beyond the Ring podcast. And welcome to my NXT UK review. This week's show was a good, fun show, and we had two matches I actually liked in this show. That was Tyler Bate versus Jack Stars. And this was the Heritage. This was for the Heritage Cup Championship. And at start, when they actually introduced this Heritage Cup rule and this kind of match, round based system match. I was not into it. I was not very into it 1 year back or something. But ever since it got repeated, it got into a flow with me. That is why that is what I felt actually, and I've liked it, and they have. There's something changed kind of thing that this NXT UK show has. I mean, they have something that new thing that they have brought, and they are really, building and very good build up, and they have really fetched a new position, good position to this Heritage Cup rule and Heritage Cup matches, and it feels big and it feels important as well. So protecting the culture, the protecting the whole UK wrestling scene. So that's what I feel when these Heritage Cup Championship is get defended actually. So another match which was out of nowhere. I mean, I didn't expect to be very good or great, but this was a great match. Jordan Devlin versus A Kid, and this was just a singles match. The story was nothing here, but they just had a backstage. Discussion like Jack Star A Kid was in the Jordan Devlin's locker room, so that was just segment. So Jordan Devlin doesn't like that, so he actually mocked A Kid. So that was a little story here. So, but the wrestling aspect is always top notch in NXT UK, and that was the case here as well. So we get into the detailed discussion. Then we first got the first match, which was Emilia McKenzie versus Isla Dawn, and this was a very good match, very good opener. I mean, I could say that. Emilia McKenzie showed a lot of potential here, a lot of very good performance here, and her moves and all is so. I'm not just saying, but her moves are very fun to watch, and I have seen her matches in NXT UK, but she's very good, and Isla Dawn is just like a sinister character, just like kind of Alexa Bliss character or something. At a point of this match, Isla Dawn actually as Emilia McKenzie was lying on the mat, Isla Dawn actually puts her hands on and kind of soaking up her energy, kind of that. I thought about that she's going to pick up the victory, but that was not. Emilia McKenzie actually the god double energy actually, and she actually pinned Isla Dawn with the double knees onto the side of the face, and she looked very good here, and I am impressed with Emilia McKenzie's performance, and she looked very good, and I feel like she should be called to NXT or something one day or so, and she should be getting that UK Women's Championship, the UK Women's Championship. Opportunity as well. She lot of resembles as like Tony Storm or something. I don't know why. Her style and all, her quickness and speed, and the story was that Emilia McKenzie, right out of the bat, she was energetic and she was full on. She was not waiting for it. And Isla Dawn, where on the other hand, she was little slow paced, and she was picking apart. And at a moment where they were in the ringside, she actually tries her double knees onto the where she was lying onto the barricade actually. So she was going for the double knee, so that actually hurt his double knee, Isla Dawn's double knee. So Emilia McKenzie then focused on that and picked up the victory. So this was a very good match, a very good opener. And we get to the second match, which was for the Heritage Cup match. I thought about this would be a main event, but this was second match, and Tyler Bate versus Jack Stars. Tyler Bate is the NXT Heritage Cup champion. So the Heritage Cup championship match had a different feel to it this time, and it the match structure was entirely different, where both of the first round, as we see, they were having a feeling out process and having counter maneuvers and quick counters, quick submission maneuvers, and all what we expect. The chain wrestling, technical wrestling, and controlling each other's arms and wrist locks. Tyler Bate was controlling Jack Stars with his wrist lock and vice like grip, and Jack Stars, on the other hand, was trying to escape. So this was the first round, and we get to the end of the first round, where Jack Stars actually took up pace into this match, and kind of attempted this pinfall, but he didn't get it. So we get to the second round, which was more fast paced, and this also had some technical wrestling as well, but this was less. This time this was less, and it took a little play. It took a very good pace in this match, and Stars is of the aggressive start here, and throwing uppercuts and British style of wrestling that we see, and he also got first fall at a kind of 36 seconds of the second round via a roll up kind of. So he gets the first fall, and we get to the round three, and round three starts off with Bate actually trying to right out of the bat into kind of a jumping onto a roll up kind of maneuver, and it was very treat to watch this. And this were kind of these two were so oiled each other. I mean, these two had some great chemistry in this match. I mean, I didn't expect this would be very good or something, but this was great, man. I mean, Bate starts with a kind of a cravat, and but Stars gets free of it and hits some shoulder blocks to take down Tyler, and at a point a big body drop as well. But Stars misses a splash in the corner, and he recovers with a butterfly suplex and gets a 2 count. And Tyler pops up, and Stars gets an airplay spin, and Stars escapes and returns with one of his own, dropping Bate with a pop-up uppercut, and that was good. And he grinds into a backslide as Bate went for a pin, but Stars sits down on a majestical cradle, and off the round to tie it, and it's 2-1 result right now. So Stars gets the fall. So both Bate and Stars gets one pin, and it was one pin that actually uh, was going to decide who is gonna win. And it was simple, and kind of it was the falls were coming quickly, and they didn't spend a lot of time, because I think they were planned out the show to have something other things as well, so that's why they get it over with. But it was good. Like sometimes it's also good, like you shouldn't have like a 25 minutes, 30 minutes 30 plus minute match every Heritage Cup Championship, because we see long matches in this Heritage Cup Championship matches and all. So this was relatively short and fun and enjoyable match, a good match, where in the end we got paid caught him in a Stars in a Boston Crab to start the round four, but Bate managed to spin his way free, and he caught Stars with that bank of that rebound lariat, and Kopo kick dropped Stars ahead of the trial driver, and that very quick victory for at that time for Tyler Bate. And I didn't expect that kind of a very speedy victory, but I knew that. I mean, it's okay. I mean. Sometimes we should shock us, and with the match structure and all, it should shock us that Tyler Bate is far from a big superstar in NXT UK right now. So he can easily, I mean, uh, complete this challenge. So he actually complete this challenge and hurdle, and uh, he retains the NXT UK Heritage Cup Championship. So that was enjoyable, fun match, and a good match. I mean, well worked match, and you should see this match. It was a very good Heritage Cup Championship defense. And we get to a segment where Marge Coffey wanders around the ring after the match, and it took that long to make his way there. Wolfgang was also there, and they kind of discussed something. I didn't pay attention. I don't know what they were, and they actually Mark Coffey actually go to the another room, and that was it. That was a segment. And we also saw another segment where at the UKPC, Pretty Deadly doing a photo shoot for their belts, and the assistant to the general manager uh, uh, comes up and pretty diddly, and they says that you have the tag team championship match against the subculture team, and they didn't have any wins or something. How do you get the challenge? And next week it's Andrews, Mark Andrews versus Lewis Howley of one half of the tag team champion, NXT UK tag team champion, and this will decide if Mark Andrews wins, subculture gets a title shot. So they had a victory last week or 2 weeks before, so that's what actually this scenario played out. So they had a match with I think it was with Wolfgang. I think so. Yeah. So that was a match, and we get to Maiko Satomura segment where Maiko Satomura is in the ring, and she speaks English here, and she speaks for the first time since she beat Kaylee Ray for the NXT UK Women's Title. If you haven't checked out this match, check it out. A great match, and she's happy to be NXT UK Women's Champion. She says NXT UK is now her home, and she's interrupted by Nina Samuels, and she brags about and. Uh, uh, I mean, your time is your time is over, and I am the one who should apparently I mean have the first challenger kind of thing. Because and right from the back we got right from the ML getting and attacking Nina Samuels. So maybe we get ML versus Nina Samuels next week, kind of a number one contenders match who would be. But that was not the case here. It was completely as different. And she comes up to the face of Michael Satomar, and she demands the match for NXT UK Women's Championship. And Michael Satomar got a forearm and just waffles her with a forearm and agreed to a title match. And Maiko actually looked some like a heelish. I mean, she didn't need to actually hit the. I mean, it was aggressive, but still, she didn't do anything actually. But either Amal didn't look like a face or something. But still, I am saying that it was that. Then we get a last week segment where Rampage is sitting after the loss in the triple threat and is interrupted by Joe Coffey, and he wants another shot at Rampage because Ilya winning settled nothing. So they're going to have one-on-one match, I guess. So let's say they laugh at each other. So maybe they would be going for a one-on-one match, and we get a vignette for Blair Davenport, and Blair Davenport is the Will Ospreay's wife actually. What's her name actually? uh, I don't know, B Priestley. Yeah, Blair Davenport. It's a typical WWE name. B Priestley was a better name than Blair Davenport. It's kind of a difficult name, Blair Davenport, kind of a place or something. But still, B Priestley is into NXT UK's women's picture. So it would be good if she challenges after the defense with Amal. Maybe Michael Sotomura versus P Priestley. Pretty good match. And we get to, and she says that it is a former B Priestley who tells us she's given up friends and family and to master what I do. And she says she's one of the experienced wrestler. She worked all over the world. All of the things she said was all true. I mean, she didn't say, but she is a heel. I mean, her promo did feel like a heel. So it's no it's nothing like kind of a new or something. But new superstars debut with a heel character. Very few superstars or something debut as a face character. It's very hard actually. It's very easy to be becoming heel in the first run for you debuting in the show, in the another band or something. So that's good build up for the NXT UK Women's roster. P Priestley coming up. So we get to a kind of a match, Mila Schmidt versus Valkyrie, I for Valkyrie. So this was a decent match. I mean, it was not a bad match. It was a pretty decent, pretty good, decent to good match. And Valkyrie was the was controlling majorly Mila here, and she got some offense and all. But at the end, we saw Valkyrie kicks onto the kind of a leg drop onto the back from the top rope, and she gets the victory. And this Ginny was standing on to the ramp, and she was looking out for her. So maybe we could be getting Ginny versus Smith, and that would be a good performance by both of them. Nothing special or something. A good match to pass through. A good, pretty decent match, and that was it. And we get to earlier today's segment where Kenny Williams had a vignette with some nice cinematic filtering in London's docklands. He compares himself to a cockroach. And next week we are gonna see Williams facing Nathan Fraser. So that's a match. It's pretty funny to see the build-ups and all of these matches and all. It's very pretty lame when NXT UK does that like this. And But the matches actually comes out to be very good. Like just like we are going to see the Devlin versus A Kid match. The story was very. I mean, nothing was there, but still they told the match story very well, and it was a very great competition here. And before that, we got a segment where earlier today segment where Eddie Dennis interrupts Trent Seven, and Eddie mocks Trent for always being the bridesmaid and not the bride, but the bride, which you could say. And Eddie actually. Eddie Dennis then mocks Trent Seven, and Trent Seven actually mocks him, brings up how he enjoyed Eddie last time they met, and Eddie backs off, and Eddie don't want to listen, and Trent Seven says, "You go and do whatever you want. Don't come here when I'm doing my interview or something." So that's a segment. So next week you're gonna see Eddie Dennis versus Trent Seven. Could be great match. Trent Seven is a very good worker and very good worker, and I love his matches. And we get to the main event then: Jordan Devlin versus A Kid, and this. This match was a very good match, as I said, and I mean, the start of the match we saw lots of counter maneuvers, quick maneuvers, and the two main selling point here was that star Akits actually was trying to get upper hand on Jordan Devlin, but Jordan Devlin was also very cunning in this match, and both were having quick maneuvers, quick escapes, quick takedowns, arm drag takedowns, and off the ropes, on the ropes. I mean, at the point where springboard arm drag was going seesaw, and then a series of monkey flip and all, and A Kid goes off to the top rope and kind of had his foot on the top rope, but he falls right out of the top rope onto the barricade onto the floor actually. And that was nasty, man. That could have injured his knee or something. I mean, it's not soft or something, it's pretty hard, that surface. So pushed him over the top rope. So that was a point where he Devlin got control on this match, where Devlin slams A Kid on the floor, then have an elbow draw back inside for a 2 count, suplexes him, had a neck crank, and he was actually focusing on his body parts. A Kid then had a big drop kick, and finally have an opening. He takes Devlin into the corner and yanked his arm over his shoulder, and before another arm drag and drop kick rocked Devlin actually. And Akid picks up the leg again, but this time he turns into a fisherman suplex. So as Akid was targeting Devlin's arm actually, when Devlin actually was focusing on the leg actually of Akid. So a leg and arm story. We know that how that story goes very well, and that was the case here as well. And Akid actually escaped as that guillotine, and escaped as Devlin walked into a Northern Light suplex, and Devlin had a Uronagi, but his standing moonsaults what countered into a triangle armbar, and but Akid rolled them towards ropes for a break, and Akid was severely damaged here because of that fall, and there was a pretty good strikes and all, trade of strikes, and with Superman punch dropping him for a near fall, and it was a great offense, back and forth, and he actually had a point where Devlin leaps over the steps and drop them into the Akid. So steel step was also a very good storytelling point here as well. They used the steel steps as well, where he actually got his double knees onto the Jordan Devlin actually puts A Kid's double knees onto the steel step, so that actually damaged his knees more. So that was the another step that he damaged the knees. So that story was going good, and in the end we saw the ropes saved A Kid as Devlin actually locked in the clover leaf, and Devlin pulled him away from the ropes only to get rolled to it and rolled in, and but A Kid couldn't fully lock into it as Devlin counters that. that uh, Vice Lock or something. I don't know what its name is, what movie's name is. Locks and traps both his arms, and Devlin counters back by folding Akid's knee back on himself for the submission, and this turned into that knee into a very awkward position, and that got Devlin victory, and very surprise victory. I mean, not very surprising, but this could have gone either way, because the damage and the storytelling that they had, both had severely damaged their arm and legs, both of them respectively. So it was a seesaw matchup. So it was a very great matchup, very great storytelling as well. Psychology was 5 on 5, and very great performance by both of them. And it's as I said, it's very funny, the build up and all. It's just lame, and but the matches they put on is banger, man. And it was a very good main event. I like this, and this is a pretty I mean, good episode, a good fun, enjoyable episode of NXT UK. And I hope you liked it. The two matches I could recommend: the Heritage Cup Championship match, and this Jordan Devlin Kid match, and that two match. And I am out of this, and I hope you like this review. Please make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content like this. And I will see you guys in the next one, guys. Until then, stay safe, stay energetic, peace.